Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about the one thing that trips up almost every single language learner out there. And you know what? It's probably not what you think. We're going to uncover a secret weapon to help you finally overcome the biggest, and maybe the most hidden, challenge in your language journey.
So I want you to just pause for a second and really think about this. When you get that moment of hesitation, right before you're about to speak, what's really stopping you? Is it because you don't know the right grammar, or you can't find the perfect word, or is it something else entirely?
Yep, that's it. It's that little voice inside your head, the one that's full of doubt, the one that's terrified of sounding silly, that constant inner critic that's just analyzing every single word. That is the real barrier, and it's the one we almost never talk about.
What this really means is that your toughest opponent, your biggest challenge, it isn't some complex verb conjugation or really tricky pronunciation. Nope, it's your own internal critic. It's that powerful mix of self-doubt, fear, and perfectionism that can absolutely freeze you in your tracks. But here's the good news. What if you had a tool to actually fight back? A way to actively rewire that internal dialogue? Well, that's where this comes in. We're talking about positive self-talk. And look, this isn't some fluffy, feel-good idea. We're treating this as a practical, powerful weapon for your language learning arsenal. So let's get really clear on what this tool actually is. Positive self-talk is basically an internal script that you intentionally run in your head. Its whole job is to counteract all that fear, that self-doubt, and that perfectionism that holds you back, so you can build what we call a resilient language ego.
Okay, so the theory is great and all, but let's get practical. Let's really get into it. I'm going to walk you through a whole toolkit of specific phrases that you can start using for the most common challenges that pretty much all language learners face. And first up, we've got to tackle the big one. The fear that paralyzes so many of us, the fear of making mistakes. These are the phrases you're going to want to use right before you open your mouth to speak, or maybe right after you make a little error and you feel that cringe coming on.
Seriously, if you only remember one thing from all of this, let it be this phrase: connection, not perfection. It's so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. This is about to become your new mantra.
So why does this work so well? Because it completely reframes your entire goal. All of a sudden, the objective isn't to be a perfect grammar machine anymore. It's simply to connect with another human being. It just immediately lowers the stakes and takes all that pressure off. Now, what about building yourself up? How do we work on confidence? Well, these next phrases are designed to help you create a stronger, more confident language persona, to help you feel a lot more empowered when you speak. Okay, this one is so crucial to internalize. Say it with me. My worth is not tied to my grammar. Just really let that sink in for a second. This is all about protecting your core self-esteem from the natural ups and downs of learning a language. And it's so effective because it basically creates a firewall between your performance and your identity, right? You are an intelligent, capable person, and fumbling a verb every now and then does not change that one bit. All right, so what about those days when you just feel stuck? When it feels like you're putting in the work but just not getting anywhere. This next category is all about managing your expectations and learning to see the real progress you're making. This one's a classic for a reason, right? This is a marathon, not a sprint. Learning a language is a long game, and really truly internalizing this phrase is the key to staying motivated for the long haul.
This mindset is an absolute lifesaver because it prevents burnout. If you expect to be fluent in 3 months, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But when you accept that it's a marathon, you can pace yourself, and you can actually start to enjoy the journey.
Okay, let's talk about those moments of just pure frustration. You know exactly the feeling I'm talking about. The word is right there on the tip of your tongue, but your brain just hits a total wall. Here's how you can talk yourself through it. So try this reframe. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm failing, tell yourself, this is supposed to be challenging. This is what growth feels like. You're literally reminding yourself that the struggle, that's the point. And this little switch in your thinking, it normalizes the difficulty. That feeling of frustration, it's no longer a stop sign. Instead, it's a sign that your brain is working hard, building new connections. The struggle itself becomes the evidence that you're succeeding. And finally, let's bring some joy back into this. This last set of phrases is all about making the learning process feel less like a chore and, well, more like a game. Try this just before you start a conversation or a study session. Just tell yourself, okay, let's play. Time to have some fun with this. You'll be amazed at how it instantly changes the energy of the whole situation.
And this isn't just about feeling good. There's some real science here. When you're in a playful state, your anxiety levels drop. Linguists actually call this lowering the affective filter, and it literally makes your brain more open to learning, to experimenting, and to retaining new information. It's a total game changer.
Okay, so now you've got the tools, you've got the phrases, but how do you actually make this a habit? How do you turn these phrases into an automatic knee-jerk response? Let's break down a simple battle plan.
Here's your 5-step plan to make this a real habit. First, just pick 3 to 5 phrases that really click with you. Don't overwhelm yourself. Second, write them down somewhere you'll see them all the time, like on a sticky note on your computer. Third, and this is so important, say them out loud, give them power. Then, start to use them proactively before a situation that makes you nervous, and reactively the second you hear that internal critic pop up. You're building a new mental muscle here.
You see, this whole process, it's not just about learning words and grammar. It's about building a new, more confident version of yourself in another language. It's about creating a language ego that's resilient and brave and ready to play. So I guess the only question left is, which new you will you start building today?